welcome our blood viewers to RTD's News English edition. As usual, we'll begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Holding of a sectoral meeting on the deconcentralization of the Kursis, Office of the Prime Minister. Historic snowstorm paralyzes the Northeast in the international scene from the United States. Those were our major top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The Great Gathering of the Muslim Faithful of Djibouti, an annual meeting held every year at the PK23, ended this morning by dua session. Men, women, young people have all participated in this annual meeting of the Muslim Faithful from the four corners of the country and abroad. Some have traveled thousands of kilometers to be present at this Ijtima of Djibouti 2022. Organized by the movement of Djiboutian preachers, this annual religious meeting is very well attended by the faithful from all neighboring countries who came to participate each year by thousands. The participation was important with tens of thousands of faithful present at the annual meeting of Ijtima. Worshippers came from all over the Horn of Africa, Asia, and even Europe to participate in the annual Ijtima in PK23. During the 2 days of the Ijtima, the religious fever was palpable on the faces of the Djiboutian and foreign Muslim faithful. The organizers have made arrangements for accommodation, catering, and stay of the faithful for the successes of the Ijtima of this year 2022. During this time, it was a constant coming and going between the capital on the road to Arta and PK23. Some stayed on the site for 3 days, others came from far away to participate in the Ijtima of Djibouti, an appointment not to be missed for the faithful of Djibouti and those who came from the region of Africa, of Asian countries, and even Europe. Shifting gears, the Prime Minister Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed chaired this morning an important meeting on the process of decentralization, focusing on the progress of the deconcentration of state services to the interior regions of the country. Several members of the government and close collaborators of the Prime Minister attended this meeting. A concise presentation on the state of affairs, the challenge to be met, and the evolution of the deconcentration desired by the government was made by the advisor to the Prime Minister. Let us all recall, in fact, that some departments are deconcentrated, such as the Ministry of Health, the Department of National Education, but also the Ministry of Agriculture, which are present in the most remote areas of the country. The Minister Delegate for Decentralization, Mr. Qasim Haroon, emphasized the usefulness of the deconcentration of service to get closer to better serve our population in the religious. Other departments must reinforce this process, for which the texts are available with a firm political will displayed at the highest level. The President of the National Assembly, His Excellency Mr. Muhammad Ali Hamad, received this morning in his office the newly accredited Ambassador of India to the Republic of Djibouti. Accompanied by the Second Secretary and Head of the Chancellery, the discussions focused on the state of bilateral cooperation and particularly between the parliamentary institutions of our two countries. Thus, the President of the Djibouti Hemicycle and the Indian diplomat led the reflection on the possibility of seeing our two assemblies put in place mechanisms that will allow a much more active parliamentary diplomacy. This cooperation will be achieved through revitalization of friendship groups, parliamentary Djibouti-India, they said. Thus, the President of the National Assembly affirmed the availability of the National Assembly, that of the Djibouti parliamentarians, members of this parliamentary group, to work and support this cooperation. At the end of a cordial meeting, President Muhammad took the opportunity to welcome his host in our country and for the good conduct of his diplomatic and protocol mission. In a statement, the Minister of Interior, Mr. Saeed Nur Hassan, informs the population, in the context of the upcoming regional and communal elections, that the mandate of regional and communal councillors will end on February 25, 2022, and I quote, "In the context of the upcoming regional and communal elections, I have the honor to inform the population that the mandate of the regional and communal councillors will end on February 25, 2022. Due to an increase of risks due to the new Omicron variant felt since December 2021 in the world, it has been decided to extend the validity of the mandate of local elected officials until Friday, April 11, 2022 by a presidential decree. Thus, it was decreed that the date of Friday, March 11, 2022 was retained for the first round of this election. Moreover, the dates for filling applications are set from January 24, 2022 to February 5th at noon for the first round. As usual, the filling of candidates will be done at the Prefecture of Djibouti for Djibouti City and for the regions in the prefectures of the region. The persons eligible to vote will be those who are in the electoral list as September 30, 2020. The electoral cards of the last presidential elections will be used. In accordance with the text in force, the electoral campaign will be open from February 26 to March 10, 2022 at midnight for the first round. For any additional information regarding the regional and communal elections, I ask the population to contact the various prefectures. Her Excellency Madame Muna Usman Aden, Minister of Women and Family, took part in the regional preparatory meeting of the 66th session of the Commission on the Statute of Women in the United Nations. The theme of this year's meeting was achieving gender equality in the empowerment of all women and girls in the context of policies and programs on climate change, environment and disaster risk reduction. Present at the meeting were Ambassador Haifa Abul Ghazali, Assistant Secretary General and Head of the Social Affairs Sector of the Arab League, Mrs. Susan Michel, Regional Director of the United Nations for Women in the Arab Countries, His Excellency Mr. Ahmad Adam, Minister of Social Affairs Development, the Republic of Sudan, and Chairman of the 41st session of the Women's Committee, the Minister of the Arab League, countries in charge of women's affairs. In her speech, Mrs. Muna emphasized the importance of this preparatory meeting for the upcoming session. In order to arrive at a joint declaration to be submitted to the United Nations Committee on the Statute of Women during the 66th session, Madame Muna thanked the League of Arab States for paying special attention to the problems of Arab women and reaffirmed the commitment of all to continue their efforts in this regard. We pray to the God, the Almighty, for the success of our efforts, she said. Madam Minister emphasized the evolution of women in the political sphere in Djibouti, with the first woman minister during the government in 1999 and the parliament in 2023. This was a new era for women under the leadership of the President of the Republic, aware that their participation is a guarantee of sustainable development for the country. Today is Sunday, 13th of January. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saleh Bonita Turab, has made his daily brief on the situation of COVID-19 in the Republic of Djibouti, and it is as follows. 38 patients declared cured, 348 tests performed, 11 positive cases were found, 45 people vaccinated, and 0 deaths. The measures remain the same, in particular wearing a mask at all times in all places, physical distancing of at least 1 meter, regular hand washing, protection of vulnerable persons. The overall assessment of the situation of COVID-19 since the beginning of the pandemic is 273,571 tests have been carried out, of which 15,451 people have diagnosed as positive for COVID, 108,768 people has been vaccinated since the beginning of the pandemic, 189 deaths due to COVID-19 infection has been recorded since 2020. Let's stay vigilant, protect ourselves and others. Let's all get vaccinated. The UNFD hosted this morning, January 30, 2022, a training workshop for community actors and civil society organizations on the implementation of community-led total sanitation. Organized by the Ministry of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries and Livestock in close collaboration with UNICEF, this training aims to contribute to the improvement of hygiene and sanitation conditions of the related populations in the capital as well as in rural areas of the targeted regions. Through this initiative, the aim is to give key actors their responsibility by making them aware of their capacity to encourage change within the community, as well as the importance of organizing local populations to take appropriate measures for hygiene and sanitation promotion. This workshop was attended by the senior officials from the Ministry of Agriculture, including the Secretary General of the Ministry of Agriculture, members of UNICEF organization, community actors, and civil society organization. It goes without saying that with the opening of this workshop, the Djiboutian government aims to develop a national strategy for the education of defecation by reducing the population of pathogens to maintain a healthy environment. This participatory approach also aims to facilitate awareness followed by a collective decision of the Djiboutian community to self-develop in sanitation. The first annual meeting of the year 2022 of the National Association of Local Authorities of Djibouti, which is also known as ANCLD, was held this morning at the headquarters of the association located at Gobot 4. Chaired by the president of the ANCLD and the mayor of the city of Djibouti, Mrs. Fatuma Awal Usman, the meeting brought together members of the executive committee of this association, composed of the presidents of regional and communal councils of the country. During the meeting, the leaders discussed 4 issues that were on the agenda, namely the mission and vision of the ANCLD, the contribution, final evolution, the project participation of civil society and governments, and local development in Djibouti. Indeed, these are 4 issues of paramount importance according to the leaders, and throughout this large-scale meeting, it was discussed the major projects carried out during the last 5 years and the programs to come. This meeting also served as a tool for self-evaluation. In addition to the senior officials of ANCLD, the consult of projects of ANCLD and experts in the field also participated in this meeting. At the beginning of its creation in 2016, the ANCLD has set its many objectives and many missions, such as establishing and developing links of solidarity between the local authorities and the Republic of Djibouti to be a framework of consultation and permanent dialogue in order to harmonize their actions to contribute to the improvement of the local administration and the harmonious development of local authorities. In closing the work of the first meeting, the executive committee of NCLD agreed on the ultimate project that will make the association into a powerful NGO. The prefecture of the prefect of the third district, pardon me, of Djibouti City, Mrs. Fatuma Ibrahim Ali, chaired this morning an important meeting devoted to the prevention of delinquency. Participating in this meeting, the various bodies of public security, the police and gendarmerie. Also present at this meeting were the members of the neighborhood council as well as the local elected officials for a broad consultation. This meeting is part of a vast operation of sensitization to fight against delinquency in the various districts, in particular with regard to drugs in the prevention of its consumption by young people. Mrs. Fatuma encouraged the inhabitants and the local elected officials to fight against the problem and to collaborate in order to combat delinquency. The inhabitants presented their opinions and solutions were discussed. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, towards New York City, was covered in a blanket of white on Saturday, January 29, as a historic snowstorm hit the northern United States. A powerful, icy wind paralyzed the daily lives of 17 million residents, and many have caused the death of a motorist north of the city. Much of the New England region is under a blizzard warning, dubbed a bomb cyclone by the U.S. Weather Service, while more than a foot of snow is expected in the great city of Boston. Well, by this, our beloved viewers, we conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening and take care. Thank you.